He felt very, very disappointed. At the minute, Trump is very, very focused on the Republican Party, the midterms. Maybe Truss very soon.
Thank you so much, Nigel, for joining us.
Protest or power. That's why we changed our party conference. That's why we changed our party. Thank you.
The political storm brewing. FARAGE 2027 election warning. Right, let's cut straight to the chase. If you haven't subscribed to UK Connors yet, you're missing the most essential political commentary this side of Westminster. Hit that subscribe button now, because what I'm about to tell you will fundamentally change how you view Britain's political future. The political establishment is in absolute meltdown, and Nigel Farage is positioning himself as a man with a crystal ball. In a move that sent shockwave through Westminster corridors, the Reform UK leader has issued a stark warning that should make every political strategist's blood run cold. Be ready for an election in 2027. Not 2028, not 2029 to 2027. And if you think that's just political posturing, you clearly haven't been paying attention to the seismic shifts happening beneath our feet. Let me paint you a picture of just how precarious Labour's position has become. The financial markets, those unforgiving arbiters of economic reality, are systematically losing confidence in this government. Farage, speaking with the authority of someone who's navigated the treacherous waters of the city, didn't mince his words when he told the Daily Mail that borrowing costs are climbing at an alarming rate. But here's the kicker. It's not just domestic concerns driving this anxiety. Wall Street heavyweights are privately expressing their doubts about Britain's economic trajectory, and when America's financial elite start questioning your credibility, you know you're in trouble. And speaking of trouble brewing, let's talk about the political earthquake that's just occurred. Nadine Dorries, former Conservative cabinet minister, Boris Johnson loyalist, and no stranger to political warfare, has made the jump to Reform UK. This isn't just another defection, this is a statement. When someone of Dorries' stature abandons a conservativeship, it signals that the party's death spiral has accelerated beyond anyone's wildest predictions. Farage called her a big hire, and is absolutely right. Dorries brings with her not just political experience, but a network, credibility, and most importantly, a signal to other disillusioned conservatives that Reform isn't just a protest vote anymore, it's becoming a genuine alternative. The defections are starting as a trickle, but mark my words, they're about to become a flood. Now, if you're enjoying this deep dive into the political machinations that mainstream media won't touch, do me a favor and subscribe. We're just getting started, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. The Conservative Party, according to Farage, is disintegrating before our eyes. It's a brutal assessment, but one that's increasingly difficult to dispute. The party that once commanded respect on the world stage, that delivered Brexit, that prided itself on being the natural party of government, is facing an existential crisis. Farage predicts they'll cease to be a national party as Reform makes significant inroads in London, Scotland, and Wales, territories that were previously considered conservative safe havens or at least competitive ground. But here's where it gets really interesting. Farage isn't just targeting Conservative voters. He's going after Labour's base with surgical precision. While he admits he's only focusing on a select few Labour lawmakers, the real prize is the army of Labour voters who are becoming increasingly disillusioned with what he describes as Blairism infecting the Parliamentary Labour Party. These aren't Conservative converts we're talking about. These are traditional Labour supporters who feel their party has abandoned them for metropolitan elite sensibilities. And nowhere is this more apparent than in London itself. Farage has boldly declared that the capital's political atmosphere has shifted so dramatically that Reform could mount a serious challenge for the mayoralty. London needs better than Khan, he stated, and given Sadiq Khan's plummeting approval ratings and the growing discontent with his administration's handling of crime, transport, and housing, this isn't as far-fetched as it might have seemed even a year ago. Remember to subscribe if you want to stay ahead of these political developments. Mainstream media simply isn't equipped to provide this level of analysis. The man who declared his political career over just 4 years ago is now dining with presidents and reshaping British politics. Farage's recent White House meeting with Donald Trump wasn't just a photo opportunity. It was a strategic alliance being rekindled at the highest levels of power. The conversation covered everything from free speech to Labour's controversial net zero strategy, and Trump's reaction to Britain's current trajectory should concern everyone who cares about our international standing. Trump, according to FARAGE, was asking all the right questions about the UK and what the hell's going on. The American president's bewilderment at Britain's deindustrialization while America moves in the opposite direction highlights just how isolated and misguided our current energy policies have become. When the leader of the free world questions your economic strategy, it's time for a serious rethink. But perhaps most telling was Trump's dismissal of Labour's new attack unit designed to discredit reform UK politicians. Farage's response was characteristically defiant and refreshingly honest. They're going to say that I'm a drinker. They will assert that I'm a smoker. They will accuse me of being a gambler. I will be accused of being a womanizer by them. Unfortunately, it's all real. Therefore, what can they truly harm me with? It's this kind of political authenticity that's resonating with voters who are tired of sanitized, focus group politicians who seem to live in a different reality. The financial markets don't lie, and they are telling a story that Labour desperately doesn't want you to hear. Bond markets are losing confidence daily, and as Farage pointed out, when Wall Street starts questioning Britain's economic competence, we're entering dangerous territory. The borrowing costs that are climbing aren't just numbers on a spreadsheet. They're the real-world consequences of policies that prioritize ideology over economic reality. Subscribe now, because what I'm about to tell you next will explain why 2027 might be optimistic. Labour's internal tensions are becoming impossible to ignore. The temptation of the radical left within the party is pulling MPs in directions that are fundamentally incompatible with governing a modern economy. Farage's prediction that they might have a hard time making it through the next several years isn't wishful thinking. It's based on observable political dynamics that are tearing the party apart from within. The Graham Linehan case that Farage referenced isn't just a single issue. It's symbolic of a broader ideological capture that's making Britain a laughingstock internationally. When comedians can be prosecuted for jokes, when biological reality becomes a matter of political opinion, when common sense is treated as hate speech, you've lost the plot entirely. And the Americans, as Farage noted, are in disbelief at how far we've fallen. Reform UK isn't just positioning itself as an alternative, it's positioning itself as the inevitable replacement for a political establishment that's lost touch with reality. The party's expansion into London, Scotland, and Wales represents more than geographical growth. It represents a creation of a genuine national movement that transcends traditional regional loyalties. The next few years aren't just going to be about political competition. They are going to be about national survival. Britain faces choices that will determine whether we remain a serious player on the world stage or continue our slide into irrelevance. The financial markets are already pricing in our decline. Our international allies are questioning our judgment. Our own citizens are losing faith in the system. Make sure you're subscribed, because the political landscape is shifting faster than ever, and UK Connors is your essential guide through the chaos that's coming. Farage's warning about 2027 isn't just political speculation. It's a recognition that the current trajectory is unsustainable. When bond markets lose confidence, when international allies express bewilderment, when internal party tensions threaten stability, the timeline for political change accelerates dramatically. We're not looking at a gradual evolution. We're looking at a political revolution that could reshape everything we thought we knew about British democracy. The signs are all there for those willing to see them. The defections will accelerate. The financial pressure will intensify. The international isolation will deepen. And when that perfect storm hits, 2027 might seem like a distant dream rather than an approaching deadline. This is why UK Connors exists. To cut through the noise, ignore the spin, and tell you what's really happening in the corridors of power. The political establishment doesn't want you to understand how precarious their position has become. But knowledge is power, and power belongs to those who refuse to be deceived by comfortable lies. Subscribe, share this analysis with everyone who needs to hear it, and prepare yourself for the political earthquake that's coming. Because whether you're ready or not, change is coming to Britain, and it's going to be unlike anything we've seen in our lifetimes.